Alrighty. Welcome in, everybody. Hope everybody's got a drink, a smoke, a water, a nice muffin, something to relax yourselves and put yourselves in a good mindset as we approach today's news discussion. Or whatever we end up talking about. It's always a broad variety of topics in here. Trying something a little different with my hair. Hopefully you guys like it. Well, I suppose if you don't, it's just too bad for you. Because I'm not changing it. Not for you, least of all. It's hard to believe that we might be heading into another situation like the Cold War, where a nuclear arms race might be a very real political consideration that has to be discussed within our discourse. But it's happening. The treaty just expired, and Trump has been waffling on whether or not he wants to reinstate it. Hi, Alyssa. You are, can't talk. You are our first comment for today. Well, that was awful. That's cool. Here you go. I'll be the first like as well. Yay, Alyssa. Code names, Jerry. Shut up, Jerry. You liked it. You know you did. You got a little chubber in your pants as soon as you heard that cough. I sound the same after I do a big old dab. Yeah. I just sound that way when I drink, when I smoke this THCA stuff that you can get from the gas stations in the deep south. I always choke like that. Nice bowl cut, huh? Do you know what a bowl cut is? Play a song for $10 or more. Anybody that super chats or sends $10 or more to my Cash App will get a song played in their favor. Now, it might not necessarily be a song you want to hear, but I can give you a list of songs that I know how to play. I can play, like, lately I've been obsessed with playing 1979 by the Smashing Pumpkins, and We Will Become Silhouettes by the Postal Service. Those have been the big two for me lately. Too much money? Guess you're just not going to get the song then. That is what it is, man. It is what it is. Did you fill the bowl today? Huh? I've got this kind of bowl, and it's filled with... It's not great, but it's something. Do you think Billie Eilish should give her entire net worth to natives? Sure. Yes. I think every super crazy rich person that could easily just make up all that money again should distribute their wealth to those less fortunate. I unironically believe this, yes. Yeah, like if I ever get to the point where I'm making millions of dollars a year, most of my money at that point is just going to be redistributed to poor people. Literally, I'm not kidding. Like once I get to the point where I've got a nice house that's fully functional and some property enough to like grow a decent garden and have a couple of cows, that's all I need. Fucking 10 acres and a double wide will suit me. and that's about $200,000 worth of spending if I get good deals. So after I hit that point and have like a couple of grand in the savings, I really don't care. As long as I keep making money, I will donate massive amounts of my income because I genuinely believe in the uplifting of the working class. Okay, can I just get rid of this person? As a conservative, I completely agree. No reason billionaires need billions. If you have over 5 million, you are just morally wrong. That's kind of how I feel. Regardless of whether you're conservative or a like hard lefty like I am, I think we should all be able to look greed in the face and recognize it for what it is. Greed is not cute. Greed is not funny. Greed is not nice. It's not a good look. It doesn't make you an alpha Chad. Jesus loves you. Well, thanks for letting me know about it. I couldn't have understood that by reading the Bible, which I was made to do from the time I was a very small child until I was 13 years old. But I'm glad you reminded me. You're caping so hard right now. Do you want to try running that like back through your spell check internally in your head and see if you might have come up with anything wrong there? He meant gaping. I'm not doing that either. Hear me out. My grandparents are worth around $15 million. They do, however, donate annually and help people anytime they can. Oh, I'm not really even like talking about people like your grandparents, man. Like, yeah, 15 million is a lot, and I do think that they could probably afford to donate more of that wealth. But at the same time, I don't expect everyone in current day America at this point that it exists in right now to be doing that. I think that the people that are really most morally egregious in this society are the people who are hoarding billions of dollars worth of labor value and resources away from all of us. The people who are hoarding millions and, or not millions, sorry, billions and billions of dollars are the people we really need to be looking at hardcore when it comes to contributions to our society being unequal to the amount of labor that they extract from it. Think about how much work it takes to keep a rich person alive and comfortable, and then think about how little work it takes to keep a poor person alive and comfortable. There does come a point at which your greed directly impinges on the life of those around you. Time to shave your 5 o'clock shadow? I literally just got out of the shower like an hour ago. So nice try. But this is a very smoothly shaven face. See? Look at my arm. Smooth. Smooth as butter. Smooth as a turtle shell. Try this shtick in China. If I was willing to speak China's praises, China would love me. China gives much less of a fuck about whether you are this, that, or the other thing, and more about, are you willing to tout China's line? Just letting you know. When it comes to white people and foreigners, at least. And it sucks. I'm not saying that's right, but like your example fails because I actually understand the way the authoritarian regime that runs China actually works. I understand what a white monkey is. And there are plenty of queer and alternative white monkeys in China getting away with shit Chinese people can't do because they are spouting Chinese propaganda. Thank you for the torch. Anybody else wants to send a gift like that, that is much appreciated. That is one of the many ways you can help fund this channel. It is entirely audience supported, so you guys are critical to my continuation, my ability to do this. Not just as a hobby, but as a job, you know? You guys are the reason why I can do 2 or 3 streams almost every day and not 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4 streams a week. Drop down to your knees and repent? Never! I have no interest in repentance, a Christian process that has value only in the minds of the critically confused. The rich people pay the people they employ, yeah, a wage way lower than the value of the labor that those people provide. I have not helped you. If you've done $20 worth of work for me and I give you $5, I have not helped you. I have not given you a job. I have fucked you over and stolen from you. And you would agree with that if it was me and my ass as a transgender woman coming to someone else in society and fucking them over in that exact way. You would recognize that as labor theft. But when it's done on a massive scale, on a systemic level, you don't care about it. Probably because you've got some vested interest in the underpayment of regular line employees. There's zero downside to believing in God. Yes, there's lots of downsides to believing in God, namely the fact that if you believe in God, you therefore have a reason to believe in all of these incentives on your behavior, which dictates a very strict social conception of how you should act and behave. Dude, what is with me and Paul streaming at the same exact time all the time? I'm starting to think he's purposefully trying to compete with me, but whatever. It is what it is. We have different audiences. I don't believe in God, no. I see no reason to believe in God because I see no evidence for the God as described in the Bible. Yeah, he got mental problems, but his take on the wealth gap is on point. Her. The fact of it is, the wealth gap is crushing all of us, whether you believe in trans people or not. You can, hate trans people all day long, but your boss is still going to fuck you over just as hard as my bosses fucked me over when I was still working at Taco Bell, Walmart, and any of these other jobs that I've had throughout my life. Office Max, Catfish Kettle. I've worked at so many fucking places. And it doesn't matter. It does not matter how gay you are or how straight you are. Your boss still wants to extract $20 worth of labor and pay you $8 for it. And that's the real war. That's the real, you want to know the real conflict in this society? That is the root of it. Those are dead-end jobs. There should be no such thing as a dead-end job. There's not a job that exists in society, except, ironically, some of the most well-paid jobs, that doesn't need to exist. I'm not saying forever and always. I mean, obviously, AI and technology are going to automate a lot of the jobs that people currently occupy, and we're going to have to find alternatives for those people in order for them to have jobs, or we're going to have to find some way for them to be able to buy food and pay for housing, etc., etc. But under our current economy, with things being as they are exactly right now, you still need those people. You still need the grocery store stalker. You still need the cashier at Walmart. You still need the cashier at McDonald's, the burger flipper, the Sonic waitress. You still need the shoe store employee. And you're gonna need these people until robots and AI completely take over the economy. That's not gonna happen, my friend, for another 10 to 20 years. Technology is just not there yet. It's getting there, don't get me wrong. It'll be in our lifetimes. But it's not going to be in the next 5 minutes. It's not going to be later this year. It's not going to be later next year. It's 5, 10, maybe even 20 years down the road. What are you going to do with these people in the interim? Because the wealth gap is getting so intense that the people at the very bottom are beginning to turn red with rage. They are beginning to grow bloated of the massive strife that is being artificially inflated within them. And at some point, that frustration is going to boil over into direct class antagonism. Some would argue that it might already be. I would argue that these protests we've been seeing in Minneapolis wouldn't be so intense if there weren't so many people broke as fuck in America. The protests all over America would not be so intense if people were doing well economically. They simply would not be. A well-paid enough people will allow all kinds of travesties to happen right in front of them. Just look at the amount of racism and shit that people got away with in the 50s. You realize Emmett Till was murdered and his killers acquitted in the 1950s, which was the time of America's most economic. That was our time of highest economic prosperity we've ever had. And that was the same decade in which Emmett Till was murdered. Everybody knew who did it. Everybody knew they were guilty. and they still walked. Why? Because well-paid Americans will let anything slide. Well-paid people in general will let anything slide. And I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying it's good. It's wrong. I'm just illustrating how the world works to you, okay? Well-paid people will put up with a ton of bullshit. It doesn't mean that's right. I think that the more educated a people is, the less likely they are to put up with that horse shit. So I think that there's an incentive to make sure that people are both well paid and well educated, right? So there's nuance to this. But we would not be seeing such massive protests across America. The cohesion that is building between people that aren't MAGA would not be growing at such a strict and fast rate if there weren't so many economic arguments to be made against the Republicans and the billionaires that they're so fucking friendly with, and the Democrats and the billionaires that they're so fucking friendly with. Literally, the Epstein files have at this point confirmed what we've all known for years, which is that all these billionaires are friends with each other. They all love each other. They're all doing sexual shit with and to each other. And they don't care about any of us. In fact, they're actively contemptuous of us. What am I? I am whatever you want me to be, my friend. I am a nuisance to the gods and a mystery to man. They still got you to talk about? What is that supposed to mean? Like, what is the criticism there? You skipped so much information and just argued with yourself. The chat is going by at like a message every 2 seconds. I'm not gonna like sit and read every single thing that goes by. Is this something people say in other streamers' chats? You look like an adorable librarian. I am an adorable librarian. People are do sex stuff, but alas, I am a Puritan. I'm not even a Puritan. I don't really care that the billionaires are doing sexual shit with each other. I care that they're doing sexual shit with each other and telling us that they hate each other. That's really it's a point of hypocrisy post. That's the thing that pisses me off. I don't know if you're talking to me or the people in chat, but the thing that pisses me off about the Epstein files confirming all these friendships and shit is Noam Chomsky has been talking shit about everybody connected with Epstein for years, but he was continuing to give Epstein advice on his PR. Like, he was giving Epstein PR advice in the wake of his fucking in the wake of his arrest. Like, Noam Chomsky, one of the heroes of the left, somebody I look up to a lot, like emailing Epstein after the fucking allegations were out there, after the arrest, after all that. Like, how can you take him seriously at that point? How can you take anyone that was connected to Jeffrey Epstein seriously? And it's like, there's just so much partisan rejection going on of the Epstein files. Selective partisan rejection. You see, I'm willing any of my sacred cows that come up in the Epstein files. I'm willing to say that Noam Chomsky is a piece of shit. A piece of fucking garbage. And just because some of his theories might have been valid, doesn't mean we need to fucking act like he was any kind of hero or any kind of motherfucker worth talking about ever again. Because he was a pig fucker, fucking kid fucking, pedo loving piece of shit. Can MAGA say the same about Trump? Let's hear it. Let's hear it, motherfuckers! Cody's just a bum. Cody's this, Cody's that, Cody's this, Cody's me, bro. What? I have no idea what you're talking about, but thank you for the $5. I have literally no idea what you're asking or saying, but hey. Oh man, OMG, your glasses are so cute on you. Well, thanks. I need new ones. That's why you should all donate. No, I'm kidding. But you can make sure that your comment or question gets read or answered if you send a super chat or a Cash App donation. You can find that down below. Are you he, him? No, I am she, her. We don't know. We only know DT is in the files. DT is in the files in a lot of contexts, many of which are criminally implicative. They are not necessarily enough to indict on their own, I guess. But, like, I mean, honestly, I think there is. I think that there is enough information to indict the president on what is in the Epstein files. Now, they would have to open a new investigation and seek out new witness statements and try to seek out new leads on evidence and shit. And none of that's going to happen as long as Donald Trump is a president. None of that's going to happen. Just like when the Democrats get into power, they're going to stop investigating Bill Clinton and Hillary and everybody else that's connected to the Dems. Partisan politics have ruined this fucking country. Partisan politics between the Democrats and the Republicans, I'm not saying the left and the right, I'm saying the Democrats and the Republicans, these two factions of the center-right wing, has ruined this fucking country. It has turned us all into vitriolic, screaming chimps that cannot talk about anything real and cannot hold our leaders accountable. Thank you from the $1.99. It's from the movie about surfing penguins. Oh, yeah. Yeah, what was that movie called? The surf... fuck, I forget what it's called. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Well, thank you for the $2. I appreciate that. Once again, I want to remind you guys that if you want a song, it is $10 or more. And I can play a wide variety of music ranging from folk punk to early indies, 2000s kind of shit, and fucking alternative music, Weezer, some Shins, some Phoebe Bridgers, some fucking Mischief Brew, whatever you want, I can bring it to you. You want some Pat the Bunny? I got that. You want some Cyndi Lauper? I got that. You want some Men at Work? I got that. You want some fucking... I've mentioned it all already, okay? You get the idea. You want some Slow Dive? I got that. Do you support ICE? I don't. No. Fuck ICE. ICE out. Get them out of our cities. Disband ICE. ICE literally does not need to exist. It is an organization that was created by the Homeland Security Act that was only passed because people were fucking terrified in the wake of 9/11. We want to hear whatever you are down to play. I subscribed. Well, thank you for that $10, Deity Puddin'. Thank you so much. I'm just going to do one last shill for donations, and then I will play us a song since you have so graciously requested it, and that is only right to do since I did offer it as a goal. If anybody would like to donate, that is the best way to get your comment or question read or answered, or to request me to play a song. You can send that either to my Cash App down below. I can use those immediately, so that's really helpful and nice. But you can also send it with Cash App, you can also send it with Super Chat, which is the thing that Dee just did. That comes up right on the screen, and everybody can see it, and it's pretty colors, and it's very nice. So, just so you know that that's there. Now the real question becomes, what am I going to play? You said whatever I'm down to play, and that makes me want to play one of the ones that I've been working on. So I guess, give me 1 second. Alrighty. You guys can still hear me? Are you trans? Yes. All right, you can hear me. Okay, cool. Awesome. Shakedown 1979. Okay, never got the time. On a flywire right up off the street. You and I just don't. The headlights pointed at the dog. We were sure we'd never see an end to it all. And we don't even care to shake these hipper blues. And we don't know where our bones will rest. Just I guess riding very in the dust. Double cross the bacon and the blind. They're not sure what we have in store. More pain, steady slipping dues down the sea. But we don't even care, as restless as we are. And we don't know, in the land of 1,000 gifts and forks, men, lamented and assured to the night and down below. The speed of sound. Just me, never knew the road. She hung out with the springs and goes. No apologies ever need be made. I know you better than you can. It's me. We don't even care to shake things in the blues. And we don't know where our bones will rest. Just I guess that B string was off the whole time, I can tell. Worth every penny, never change, and fuck ice. Yeah, hey John Doe, I don't give a fuck what you think about a goddamn thing. Just so you know. I don't care what you think about a goddamn thing. You can stay in the chat, nobody's gonna ban you, but your opinion's not worth the fucking penny your mom paid for it. Nobody looks to you for a goddamn thing, John. Nobody looks to you for a goddamn thing. Nobody thinks of you as the first person they want to think about whenever they're wondering about something. Nobody ever asks you a question that's worth answering. Nobody ever wants to hear your opinion on a goddamn thing. So how about you shut your mouth and scroll up? No, I don't have a band. I'm confused. You trans? Yes, I am. But no, I've never. I mean, I've had like I was in a band for a brief period of time, but it never really did anything. So, excuse me. Thank you. By the way, deity. Um, yes, fuck ice, ice out. Ice is dog shit. Have you ever heard of Luna acoustic guitars? They're cheap but look and sound beautiful. Yeah. I've played some Lunas in my life. They're all right. If anybody would like to hear another song, it is $10 or more to have me break out the guitar again. Although, judging off of the audience reaction from the last one, I don't think there's going to be any forthcoming donos for that. But whatever, it's fine, it's chill. You don't have to like me. Yeah, well, John Doe, nobody even gives enough of a fuck about you to sit around and listen to your delusions or to pay them any mind at all. So you can call my gender identity a delusion all you want, but one of us has wide recognition in the scientific and medical community, and one of us is sitting around with our thumb up their ass spewing bullshit in someone's comment section like they know a goddamn thing. You don't know shit from Shinola, bud. I'd shut the fuck up. Nukes in title? Yeah. All the nukes being in the title is appropriate, though. Like, okay, did you hear the news? The nuclear treaty between the United States and Russia has expired. So, like, the Cold War could be back on. The nuclear arms race could be back on. Are you trans? Yes. Stop spamming John Doe or Riley will get you. Yeah, don't spam. Very bad idea. What's your sexuality other than trans? I mean, I'm bisexual. I guess that's probably what you mean. If you are sitting around watching the stream, please consider hitting the like button. It really does help. Every single time you hit that like button is another chance to send the stream out to even more people, which increases the quality of your viewing pleasure by increasing the number of people who can engage in the chat. So double tap that screen unless you have the button available, in which case just place the button. It hurts no one and helps me immensely. You're getting therapy? Already been through it. And the overwhelming consensus of my therapist was, yep, she's trans. Like the only reason why people say that like is because I'm trans, and so like I'm sorry if you are one of the rare like one out of every 100 people that is saying that because of some other reason, because like I'm crazy enough without the like whole trans thing. Like I've always been kind of a crazy bitch, like even if I like even when I wasn't visibly trans. One thing I despise about living in Texas are the mass amounts of Christian propaganda on billboards. Well, I live in Mississippi, so I can relate to you there. It is an entire problem down here. You cannot drive 5 miles without having existential questions lobbed at you by big billboards that block the skyline and make everything look ugly. I think billboards should be banned. I do not think highway side advertising should be allowed outside of a business premises. I think if a business wants to advertise itself on the billboard outside of interstates, it should be illegal. Downright illegal. I think it should not be flatly should not be legal to advertise roadside unless it is at a place of business or on an interstate. On an interstate, okay, I can see the reason there. But on any other highway, man, you're traveling slow enough and there's enough exits, like there's enough density of exits and everything that I do not think you personally need to have access to little informative ad billboards every 2 miles to let you know where the nearest McDonald's is. I'm sorry. If it's the interstate, okay, I get it, right? Way less exits, way less opportunities to turn around. Okay, I understand that. But along the regular highways and roadways of America, do we really need billboards? No, we don't. The only reason we allow them to exist is because lots of people make money off the advertising revenue. Agreed. Are you a boy or a girl? A girl. Well, glad you agree with some basic sense. I feel like this is not a hard thing, no matter what side of politics you're on. Billboards are another distraction for already distracted drivers. 100% agree. 100% agree. Big, 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 big agree, which is one of the reasons why I think they should be allowed on interstates but not other roads. It is easier to not be distracted by a billboard on an interstate where the distractions are very few and far between. But on a regular highway, man, regular highways like through cities or rural areas are full of fucking distractions. They're full of neat things to look at and driveways and people coming in and out and exits and all kinds of shit you need to be aware of and paying attention to. Whereas on an interstate, you might go 50 miles, no exits, especially if you're in the West. Were you a boy first? Yes, I'm trans. Why is this so interesting to people? It's not even in the title today. I'm barely allowed to drive because my ADHD. I backed into cars and run into too many gas pumps. Yeah, Harper, I don't blame you for not wanting to drive that much in wake of having that kind of thing because like it is not exactly fun or safe to drive if you are already easily distractible and our world is full of distractions for drivers. It's like it's something that we used to worry a lot about because we used to I don't know, care more about the results of our policies or be more cognizant of the negative outcomes of the things we did. I don't know why we did it, but we used to talk about this as a country. Like, is that like even with cell phones? One of the biggest concerns with cell phones when they first came out and as they grew in popularity was people texting and driving. Now, yeah, it's still illegal. You'll still hear like discourse about whether or not it should be like the level to which it should be enforced and everything, but really nobody cares about it because we've all kind of like adopted this mindset that being distracted in a vehicle is okay if the distraction is handled in the right way. And I'm not even saying like whatever. I don't want to talk shit on the people I know that use their phones hand-free in their cars, like I get it, man. Like our society has kind of built itself around needing to do that, especially if you work Uber or something like that. But it's fucking stupid how many distractions we've normalized in our driving atmosphere if you think about how car dependent our infrastructure is. Do you support Trump? No. Can you describe a woman? Sure. Someone who identifies as a woman or is visibly identifiable as a woman and doesn't correct you. There you go. That is a woman. Yes, the stream just started. I'm in early. It didn't exactly just start, but yeah. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button as you're rolling in. Please consider sharing the stream. That really does help to spread the word. If you like watching these, please consider showing some of your friends and family that watch like online content too. Just spread it around on your socials because I would love to keep growing in success and popularity. But the only way I can do that is on the back of your support. You are the laughing stock of society. I mean, certainly there are lots of people that laugh at trans people in America, but I think like the overwhelming statistical trend is still towards supporting trans people. So I feel like for the laughing stock of society, it is pretty much squarely the result of small-minded, square bigots that would literally make fun of whoever was in vogue to make fun of. Way back in the day, it was black people that were the laughing stock of society. Minstrel shows dominated the entertainment venues of the South and even the North for a long time. And then it was gay people, in the 70s and 80s. And, now for a while it's going to be trans people. Ultimately, people distract themselves with these social issues. I'm sorry, with opposition to these social issues because they can't really oppose the economic problems in their life without making an ideological commitment to something that betrays their other values. So I really think that a lot of people are just locked in ideological stun lock, and it prevents this country from moving forward because people are like, well, I gotta agree with all these right wing economic talking points, even though I don't really agree with them logically, because if I disagree with these right wing economic talking points, then I've got to disagree with all the left wing social or I've got to agree with all the left wing social fucking points. And the polarization of our society and the categorization of every single thing we believe into neat little categories, I think is slowly destroying this country. Joey Fingers with the $5. I fucking appreciate you because you disagree with me highly, but you hang out in here, and I love that. Majority of tritium used by Russia is expired or near expired, combined with advancement of interception tech. I'm not too worried. Assume a new deal soon. That's kind of honestly, Joey. I just want to say I'm not trying to fearmonger by saying that this stuff might come back. When I say it might come back, let me clarify a little bit more. It's probably not going to. Joey is probably right. A new deal probably will be struck, especially because Trump has never really fully given up on Putin, and it's kind of been theorized that Putin might have some kind of like compromat on Trump, which would prevent him from being able to really retaliate against Russia or try to do any brinksmanship with them. I certainly don't think that Trump is going to try and launch an active war with Russia. Certainly not without Greenland in our back pocket. We are not nearly as equipped to deal with a actual land war with Russia or an air war or anything else as we would need to be if we were really going to do it. So I don't think we're actually going to enter into some kind of World War III kind of thing, but it's on the table now in a way that it really hasn't been for a very long time. See, before, like as far as I know, this has really never happened before because in previous previous times when it's been time to renew these contracts, the leaders of the countries involved have gotten together before the contract is set to expire and drawn up a new deal, which takes effect before the old one expires, and things just continue on in a way that's planned and everybody understands well. But this is the first time, as far as I know, that there's actually been an opportunity to. I mean, I hate to look at it like Henry Kissinger, but in my mind, this is an opportunity for us to expand the zone of safety. Damn, I sound exactly like Henry Kissinger. Ugh, okay. I don't know how else to put this, though. And I do genuinely think this, okay? But forgive me for sounding like the K-Man, but I think that this is an opportunity for us to expand the zone of freedom and safety in the world by including more people in the nuclear drawdown process. That would be nice. That would be nice. It's also an opportunity for things to go vastly wrong and for things to boil over in a way that they haven't had the opportunity to in about 60 years. So it's a tumultuous moment in our nation's history right now. Can you describe a woman without using the term woman? Probably if I thought about it, but I don't feel particularly compelled to do so because you asked me to. Maybe if you donate a little, I'll put some mind effort into it. Talk about Satan? Why would I? I don't believe in him. I don't believe in God, Satan, or any of these like biblically affirmed concepts. I do like having the pentagram back there so it lets people know that I'm not religious or that I'm like anti-religious or whatever. It lets people know that I'm opposed to the hegemony of Christianity. It's just a question ain't trying to piss you off. No, it's fine. I just get the question a lot. I'm not trying to be a douchebag to you. I'm not trying to be like particularly rude. I'm just saying it's a question I've gotten a lot. If you want to look at some of my other streams, you can find more definitions of it. You can find me talking about it a lot. But ultimately, I think you can't really define woman effectively without using the term woman because it is a social term. It's a term that is self-referential in a way. Like, what is a woman? It's all the things you associate with one. Like ultimately, if you define it any other way, then you are inevitably going to include or exclude people that you don't want to include or exclude, right? So if you define it as just a person with a vagina, well, any trans woman who's gone through sex reassignment surgery now counts. Okay. So if you define it as a person who was born with a vagina, okay, That pretty much excludes any woman born with Meyer-Rokitansky-Kuster-Hauser syndrome or any intersex disorder that does not have a fully functioning vagina. Are you going to include them or are you going to exclude them to keep trans women out? Okay, it's anybody who has a fully functioning vagina and a uterus. Okay, once again, MRKH patients out, PCOS patients probably out. Their fertility is usually compromised. Endometriosis patients out. Their fertility is usually compromised. Old women who have usually either had hysterectomies or who've gone through the change of life out. Exactly how many women do we want to exclude on the basis of our desire to create a nice little cogent definition that includes all cisgender women but excludes all transgender women? There's a reason why words like cisgender and transgender are even, there's a reason why they exist. Because woman, just like man, is a gender term that describes a psychological and sociological phenomenon. Hey, Neffy, I'm not going to shut up for you because I don't shut up for fuck or all. I don't shut up for anything. Not for you, not for my mom, not for an alien if it came down from space, not from God herself if she appeared before me. So can it? You didn't have a father around? Actually, not true. My parents were together until I was 14, and then they divorced, and then they got back together, so. No, cis ID is derogatory to natural women not being mean, but it's not okay. That's just flatly wrong. You might feel offended by it, but that's just like a transgender woman or a transgender man getting offended by someone saying that sex is real. It's just as stupid and nonsensical. Every bit as retarded. Every self-respecting trans person or cisgender person knows two things: that transgender and cisgender are not inherently offensive terms, A, and B, that sex is real, and that it is the real biological marker that people are talking about when they say there's a difference between men and women. Woman and man are all of these social consequences that you want to append to people because of what genitalia they were born with. See, if man just meant person with a penis, it would be one thing. But man is supposed to mean, leader of the family and strong person that can lift things and is into mechanics and is basically stupid but still controls everything. Loud, angry, stinky, like if being a man just meant you have a penis, that would be one thing. But you guys are not comfortable with that. You guys are not comfortable with any man who doesn't fit your very narrow and sexist definition of what a man is. And that strict reliance on gender norms, that strict insistence on gender norms, is ultimately what makes trans people so loud. It's what makes us so able to make our points so effectively, because we are surrounded by people who want to literally beat us to death for not being stinky enough. And we, like, you have a penis and you aren't stinky and smelly and hairy and stupid? Huh? You have a vagina and you don't like to cook and look beautiful and moan for men? Huh? Is it really surprising that transgender people and people who support trans people are becoming higher in number when that is the straight cisgender position, when you're defensive of it? When that is the like heteronormative position, is to be like insistent that someone is stinky and stupid and only interested in mechanics and politics or whatever? Hey, on guillotine, bold words from a motherfucker that doesn't have their profile picture as a picture of their face. Bold fucking words. I said, I don't think you do. It's hard to tell. Mainstream pop culture made it a trend? Nope. Nope. Mainstream right-wing culture made it a trend to hate on us. That is what actually happened. Heading into work. Best of luck. Stay safe. Well, you too, Joey. Is your pathetic father proud of you? I don't know. I could ask you the same question, Velig. What does your dad think of you sitting around wasting time all day with your fucking thumb up your ass sitting on YouTube chats talking shit? Does your dad really admire you for all your keyboard warrioring? Does your dad sit around like is your dad like at the water cooler at work and he's like, "You'll never believe what my son was doing last night. He was in a transgender streamer's chat and he was talking shit. All kinds of mad shit on that keyboard." Yep, my kid's a badass. You really think that's what it went down like? Or do you think he keeps his eyes down and doesn't mention his kids because he fucking thinks you're disgusting and your neglectful room is reminiscent of a pigsty? 'Cause I bet that's what happens. My dad talks about me. I bet when your dad's talking about you, it's as if you're dead or gone. I'm cringe. I need to get out of my safe spaces. Says the conservative that probably spends all of their time in conservative spaces, listening to conservative media, talking to conservative people. You're a victim of Jewish propaganda. I am so glad that people like you exist out there because every normal person that isn't a Nazi reads stuff like that and they're like, oh, so transphobia is just a Nazi thing. It's literally just a JQ Holocaust denier thing to believe in. Okay, cool. Right on. Literally, I don't even need to refute that. I don't even need to address it. The fact that you associate the real, lived, proven fucking science of transgender people with some Jewish cabal conspiracy theory is that demonstrates everything someone needs to know about you that isn't a Nazi. Anyone that's not a Nazi hears something like that and they're like, "Oh, that guy's a Nazi." And that movement is probably full of Nazis. Cool. So thank you for demonstrating the utter lack of consistency or rhetorical worth in your position. Hey, so what do you say about all the ladyboys in Thailand? How come nobody ever cared about them? I mean, thousands of Americans go there specifically to hang out with them. It's because of baseline hypocrisy. It's because you'll notice nobody talks about the ladyboys in Thailand anymore. But it used to be kind of a funny thing to bring up whenever you're talking about trans people, no matter what side people were on. It was something that might get brought up. Now it's not brought up anymore because everybody kind of remembers and knows in the back of their minds that all these anti trans people have at some point or another paid a Thai ladyboy to suck them off or to fuck them in the ass or something, and we don't hold them to account for that because we have just decided that people are allowed to live two lives. That's the same reason why Trump isn't being asked about his involvement in the Epstein files. He's surrounded by media people, and all of them are too pussy or too worried about the public perception of themselves and their future careers to ask a president a pressing question. All of them, every single one of them. And he hates on most of them half the time when they're there. There's like this one reporter that he fucking pisses on every time, every single time she speaks, basically. Still won't ask him a difficult question. We have normalized having two lives in this country. We have normalized having two opinions. We have normalized the elite saying one thing when they're in front of all of us and a different thing when they're behind closed doors. And we have normalized their little defenders doing the same goddamn thing. Most of the people you see in here talking shit on me for being trans jerk off to trans porn. Most of them. You know what states reliably have the highest searches on porn sites for trans porn? Mississippi, Arkansas, Alabama, Louisiana, Texas. What do you think about the idea of you guys being a new species for people's consciousness? They've been so programmed by the Matrix that's like that now it's like they're refusing it. I don't want to dehumanize us by saying we're a new species, nor do I want to make it seem like I'm like a trans supremacist. No, I don't think we're a new species, but maybe it is kind of like how people are seeing it. Trans people are the forefront of transhumanism, at the very least. Like the idea that human beings can change the nature of their biological reality is a fundamental part to like transgender treatment processes. You know, like sex reassignment surgery is the idea that you can effectively change the nature of a biological reality through concerted effort in medical science. And I mean, I don't have to agree with it ideologically or not. I mean, I do, but I don't have to. It exists and is provable, regardless of my opinions on it. Places with more people search niche things more. What an observation. The Southeast is part of the, like, are you fucking high? The Southeast is one of the emptiest fucking places in the country, matched only by the wide expanses of the West. More people live in Massachusetts than live in most of the fucking deep South combined. More people live in New York City than live in Mississippi. New York City and its surrounding urban area has more human beings in it than all of Mississippi does, with everyone in here. So get off Discord. It's rotting your brain. You are projecting hardcore right now because I really only have Discord to interact with a fan community that's been built for me. I know so little about Discord that it takes me like 10 minutes to do anything on the server. But it's interesting to know that you're like a Discord person. You're one of these people that just hangs out on Discord all day long. I wonder how that person talks to their Discord friends about these political issues. Yeah, I stay in a pretty small Texas town. You have to drive hours to reach the next city over. Yeah, I don't know why that person thought they were like so confidently said something that was so stupid and wrong, just patently wrong. Well, the South has more people, so of course they're searching more niche things. It's like, huh? If that's the fucking case, then the cities should all have the fucking craziest search terms. Then it should be the cities, but the cities have pretty fucking normal search terms by comparison. You look at like what is the top searched porn in fucking California. I don't think it has. I think it's like ebony or something. It's got nothing to do with trans people. And LA is the biggest city on earth, basically. Not literally. It's Beijing is the biggest city on earth, but you get what I'm saying. Texas has a population of 30 million people, so it's also fucking like a fourth of the landmass of the United States, dude. What do you like? You point. Texas has more than three times the population of New York. Well, I guess it's a good thing I didn't say fucking Texas when I said Mississippi, then, dipshit. I included Texas in a long list of states and then said New York City has more fucking people and oh, whatever, dude. You know what? If you want to just make up shit that I said, that's fine. I guess that's fine. Tacos or burritos, tacos. It is known Texas was gerrymandered to hell. My only point was literally just saying that, I made the claim, which is true. You can go look it up. That the South has the kinkiest, weirdest, and most trans and queer adjacent porn searches of any state, or any of the other states in the union. And somebody said, wow, places with more people are gonna have weirder search terms. Look at that. And I pointed out that the Southeast doesn't have that many people. I mean, sure, Texas and Florida do, but Texas and Florida are not the whole of the Southeast. Most of the states I'm talking about are the ones with very little population. Um, and B, the states that actually do have the highest populations, especially relative to their landmass, because yeah, Texas has a ton of fucking people in it, but it's also like the fifth largest state in the union or some shit like that, or the third largest or something. I don't exactly know how big it is. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I know it's bigger than New Mexico, which is like the fifth or fourth largest, and smaller than Alaska. But California is fucking huge too, and has way more people than Texas, I'm pretty sure. And yet, California's porn searches are not reflective of some tendency towards queerness, which refutes the idea that there is some sort of correlation between high levels of urbanization and high levels of population and weird porn searches or non-standard or deviant or queer related porn searches. We've gone so off track at this point that I don't even know if it's worth continuing to pursue the idea, like the line of discussion, you know? Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Blacklark. Yeah, my point still fucking stands. Okay, thank you, Blacklark. Population of density of Texas is 111 per square mile. New York State is 429 per square mile. Density doesn't matter? Yes, it does, because my whole point is that rural people, the same type of people producing all the bigots, are the same people searching up all this weird porn shit. They're the same fucking people. Crystal meth in the water, I can believe that. I mean, would explain why the South is so schizophrenic, wouldn't it? New York would be a kick-ass state with dude. New York would be nothing without New York City. Are you kidding me? The only reason people even remember New York State exists is because they need a break from New York City because it's too badass and too awesome. Too much money flows through it. You have to hustle too hard. Yeah, New York would be another rural state without NYC. Yeah, nobody would give a fuck about New York City. Do you work or I do this for work? Oh, I got super chats earlier that I completely missed from Abe Snake. You didn't have a good active father in your life. If you did, this wouldn't be who you pretend to be. You are coping. I hope you heal someday. Abe Snake thinks he knows more about medical science than my doctor. Well, Abe, you'll forgive me if your $5 is not seen in my eyes as legitimate as a medical degree. Dang, Phoebe, you're roasting him tonight. I always roast him. This is your job? Yep, I know. Get sad, get bitter. It sucks. The worst person you know has your dream job. You say you're an early bird or a night owl? It depends. It really does depend. Rural New York literally depends on NYC to not starve. It brings in the state's revenue. No, I know. Sounds like you might need that $5, dog. Oh, I appreciate the $5. That doesn't mean he's right about a goddamn thing. Your $5 does not entitle you to correctness. You giving me $5 is not the basis upon which I base your correctness. Sorry, I'm not a hack. Would you like me to start taking Israeli money too? Would you like me to start taking APAC money? Are you really going to sit here and advocate for just say whatever the people who pay you want you to say? I hate that Google pockets a chunk of super chats. Well, that's why you can contribute to my Cash App, which is down below and does not have anything taken out of it except taxes. I mean, I had to pay taxes on it, but still. You wanted your attention so bad he paid you? Hey, I gave it to him, and I still thanked him for the $5. But like I said, it's not going to entitle you to correctness. You're streaming and spouting nonsense for Polar Pop money, dog? That's how you see it. I've been streaming for an hour and I've made a lot more than $5, but that's the way you see it. Oh, I didn't know your Cash App was linked. Yeah, no, it's my Cash App is linked down below if anybody prefers to donate that way. I should shout it out more whenever I shout out the donos. Are we not going to talk about how sexist and homophobic the country has gotten since Trump has been president? It's time to move to Canada, bro. It's not time to move to Canada. It is time for us to band together and to start talking this shit through. We need to teach conservatives why they should value human life again. Because, yes, I have noticed how much bigotry in general, not just homophobia and sexism, but racism and xenophobia, these things have become normalized and commonplace under Donald Trump. And like moving, you have to understand something about fascism, Abigail. You have to understand something. You don't leave, you fight. You don't leave, you fight. Because a fascist country not fought against will eventually start invading its neighbors because fascism is not it cannot be satisfied just by taking over the homeland. It cannot be. That's why Germany expanded until it had all of Western Europe. Why Germany didn't stop at Austria or Czechoslovakia or Poland. They went all the way till they had they were all the way abutting against Russia, and they had all of France. Could have taken Spain if they really put an active effort into it, probably. And this is why. This is why. You cannot just leave. And I don't plan on leaving. Because the only thing you can do against the rising tide of fascism is fight against it. Talk people out of fighting for it and fight actively against it. Because it's a totalitarian ideology that can suffer no rival. And it will take over the world if allowed to. Running from it only postpones the day in which you will be forced to fight. You are clueless. Hang on to your click words. What the fuck does that even mean, Margaret? What do you think about the fossil fuel industry attempting to shift blame of the global warming crisis from themselves to the average person? They want to do that so that they don't have to take any accountability for it. It's a very natural and predictable outcome of capital interests abutting against the interests of the broader whole. And it's not just this is not the only place in which capital interests and the general welfare of the people cannot be reconciled. Like, it's in fact pretty common for private interests to be against the interests of the population as a whole. Imperialism has nothing to do with fascism? Huh? What? Come again? The natural, logical conclusion of a human being that thinks their race is superior to all others is world domination. The natural inclination of a human being that believes their political ideology is the only one that works and is the best out there and is the only is world domination. How can you possibly say that fascism and imperialism are not linked? They are intrinsically linked. The Canada thing was a joke, but also Trump claims to be the least racist person ever, but he refuses to stop ICE because he's incredibly racist. Not only that, he set a goal that is unreachable and inhuman when it comes to deportations because ultimately he knows that the only reason he's got any power or any sway at all is because about a third of America are like little petty Nazis and want to see the rest of us crushed underneath their boots. Literally, that's the problem. That's why I feel like you have to oppose the right wing so hard. That's why I go so hard against them in these live streams, is because I feel like the other option is like just not caring, you know? Like the fact that um, a third of your country is actively opposing you, I feel like you have to care about that because the left is not like that. Like the left does not want to kill every conservative. The left does not want to crush every old white lady under their boots. But the right does actually seem to, for the most part, want to crush every brown person beneath their boots and wants to crush every leftist beneath their boots. They want to send us all to prison. They want to destroy our lives and kill our families. Like, I don't know. Like, how long are we supposed to suffer a third of our country to be completely opposed to the good of the general population? Like, we are living in a society that is undergoing collective suicide, literally. Our country is killing itself effectively. They want a civil war so bad, it's creepy and really sad. I 100% agree. I can't imagine telling someone to stop having funeral pyres when they let corpos pollute their environment with foreign sweatshops that export all the goods and leave the country with the trash. Oh, 100%, especially when you think about the fact that a funeral pyre produces way less fucking pollution and way less, like, a funeral pyre is a way more biodegradable option for body disposal than pretty much anything else you could do with a body. Like literally, what else are you going to do with a body besides drain it of all the preservatives and just bury it out back in a swamp somewhere? I guess if you did that, that could also create the conditions conducive to making them return to the soil. But short of that, short of just burying somebody, like you're going to use a lot more. Like you realize if you burn a human being, like if you, what is the word? If like a cremation that is done in a crematorium uses fuel. Whereas a funeral pyre, yeah, it uses fuel, but it's a way less processed fuel in the form of wood. And it is like it burns to a way more bioavailable state and a way less dangerous state. It's not like putting off massive amounts of pollutants. It's not, you know, putting out overly intense amounts of carbon dioxide and hydrocarbon fucking remnants or whatever. Give my body to poor people? What are we going to do with it? Trump gave ICE the ability to unalive people, and you schizos don't see any problem with that. Yeah, I don't see how. Like, and it really is a schizophrenic kind of politics because if Joe Biden had ever given any American institution the overarching power to enforce like if Joe Biden had ever given ICE or Border Patrol or anything else unilateral authority to fuck with Americans and go door to door looking for brown people, dude, MAGA would be having a come apart. They would be going insane. They would be talking about how evil it is and how Joe Biden is a bastard and the worst president ever. They've got no morals. They just have Trump. What about the other 7 messages? Me, Angel, and Gilly. Oh, yeah, I'm not reading you guys. Sorry. Did it take you this long to figure that out? I'm not reading Guillotine because they won't stop misgendering me. I haven't read you because you're boring as a motherfucker, and I haven't read the other idiot because I just haven't seen any comments from them. Calling people not harming anyone and adding to the country illegals is asinine. I 100% agree. It is incredibly stupid and inhuman to call a human being an illegal. Thank you, Post. I don't know why that. Yeah, like I don't know why he took so long to stick around. Like I don't know what the point in that was because it was pretty obvious like 10 minutes ago that I was done with his stupid ass. Like I don't know what the point of him staying in here. Not saying on you guys' part because I've been telling you to be lenient on the bans and everything. I'm not saying you guys should have banned him. I'm saying I don't know why Guillotine chose to stick around for 10 minutes when it was very obvious that I was ignoring their messages and refusing to give them any more attention because that is all Guillotine is in here after. If I was a cis woman, he'd be talking about how ugly I was, or he'd be talking about how stupid I am, or something else. Guillotine is not a real human being looking to have an actual conversation with someone. Guillotine is a shit stirring little 12-year-old that wants to have attention given to them. And I'm done giving them attention for one day. Both sides sensationalize their politics in an effort to reach more people. It just divides people. I mean, I feel like I talk in a pretty populist way, but me merely being trans and merely defending it passionately gets regarded as sensationalism for some people. You claim to be moral but refuse to have an open conversation with both sides. Sure, I'll have an open conversation with anybody. I just am not going to sit around and listen to someone misgendering me all day. Not going to do it. Um, to block out people asking questions about your message is counterproductive. I have no problem with persons asking questions about my message. What I have a problem with is someone who refuses to address me in a polite and human way. Kind of just, kind of ironic, not trying to be rude, but it sounds like you were just describing yourself. In what way? How have I been misgendering anyone? YouTube should have a dislike button. They do. Click the 3 dots at the top right, and it will bring up all the different options, and you can dislike it. But by the way, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't tell YouTube not to recommend this content. In fact, it tells YouTube, hey, this content is so cool that it's actually making some people pissed off, so you should recommend it to more people. Calling people illegal aliens is a dehumanization tactic. They do that so they can pay for the. Well, yep, 100%. It's the same reason why Jewish people were not called Jewish people in Nazi Germany. I don't even expect Phoebe to read mine half the time. I'm bitching at all stupid. Like, here's the thing: people that are smart and rational and participate in here regularly know that I try to read every comment that I can, but I'm not going to be able to read every comment that's sent in the chat because otherwise I would just be talking about shit that everybody has already moved on from. It would not make any sense. I would have an audience for like 10 or 15 minutes, and then everyone would go watch something else because I'd be answering questions that were sent an hour ago, and it's just not conducive to a good time for anybody. They've been led to think that anyone that's not white, straight, or Christian is part of the problem. They talk as if they can't have anything. Um, nice because if blacks or gays or women, it's wild. Yeah. In reality, the reason why they can't have anything nice is because their boss pays them so little that they can't afford anything but their bills. But they don't want to blame their boss because their boss is their best friend. It gives them all this, little fucking side swag to make up for it. And they don't want to talk shit. They don't want to talk shit on the owners of the business because they go to church with the owners of the business. And like it is literally an entire like people don't even think about it or talk about it, but the upper classes of America have instituted a system of widespread normalized slavery where people are expected to live in horrible, depressing conditions, awful depravity. They are expected to work for low wages, and they are expected to defend this system and the people who put it into place, lest they lose what meager little they have already. It's a system of slavery predicated on ideological agreement, basically. But nobody talks about it because, well, the people affected by the system are incentivized not to talk about it. If you're a person affected by the system, you can't just be going online being a leftist openly. What if that gets back to your boss? What if they fire you? What if your boss tells all the other business owners in town that you're a fucking leftist and an agitator and shit? Now you're not going to get work anymore. Better be a conservative. The algorithm rewards rage bait because then people have to find more videos on YouTube that affirms their perspective. Yeah, well, that's true enough. I think you can go different directions with rage bait, though. I defend rage bait, at least to some degree. One last plug for donations before I start to wind things down. If anybody would like to donate, please consider doing so through my Cash App, which is linked down below. Very easy to get to. I can use those instantly, so that's very nice. Or through Super Chat. Either way is a great way to get your comment or question read or answered. This is a viewer-supported channel, and I appreciate every single dono and donate that I get. Same thing happens in parts of this country if you were a conservative. Political discrimination in general is a problem I can agree with, but that I disagree is limited to the left. Okay, sure. I can agree with you that in certain parts of the country, a conservative's probably going to have a hard time getting a job too. And I disagree with that as well. I think that in general, when it comes to regular people, you should have to be doing something really egregious. Like, you know, um, in a time when I genuinely believe that the country is being taken over by hardcore fascists, I think that if you're like involved at a high level or something like that, eh, I can understand why a left wing area might not want to hire you. But that being said, I don't think anyone should be able to get fired merely for having politics. And I think that it's a case by case situation, right? So like there's lots of celebrities that probably couldn't get a job at a lot of places because those places wouldn't want to be swarmed. Shaquille O'Neal can't just go get a fucking job at McDonald's because as soon as people know that Shaq works at their local McDonald's, that local McDonald's is never going to function again as a business that isn't just a Shaq meetup, you know? Like, so if they hire somebody like Nick Shirley, I mean, that's a pretty good recipe to get your Taco Bell flooded with people that just want to meet Nick Shirley or talk shit on Nick Shirley. So I think that there are some reasonable and nuanced exceptions that we can discuss. But in general, I wish people wouldn't get fired or denied apartments and housing and things like that merely for being someone who's loudly political. I wish it wouldn't happen. At the same time, ultimately, I do believe in the freedom of association, and I think that people should have a right to determine. I think it's one of these things that we shouldn't necessarily try to approach as a legal issue. Maybe it should be in some ways, but I think it's mainly a cultural thing. It would be, but it's also like, how are we going to manage to get that if we're all at each other's throats? It's a complicated thing. Opinion on MAGA Republicans commonly being unable to distinguish between a neoliberal and someone who was actually left wing. It's because their media uses the terms left wing, neoliberal, and liberal all interchangeably. It's because right wing media makes no distinction between a an anarcho primitivist and a neoliberal Democrat, right? Like in their minds, the only difference between Ted Kaczynski and Bill Clinton is that Bill Clinton was more attractive and had less facial hair in the minds of a lot of right wing people. Now, in the minds of anybody on the left, they can clearly look and see how it's arguable whether old Ted was even a leftist to begin with. And it's clear that Bill Clinton was a neoliberal Democrat. No more, no less. He was not some kind of crazy leftist Marxist, but if you listen to people on the right wing, you would believe that most of the people operating on the Democrat side are some kind of crazy liberal Marxist leftist. I'm not Goblin. I have to head on, but I wish you a blessed afternoon, and I'm all right with disagreements. I just hope this country can learn to have differing opinions in a civil manner. Insults are just fuel for fire. Well, I agree with that. I try not to insult people that aren't insultive towards me. Like, if you're not mean to me, I try not to be mean in response. But what I have found is that I will occasionally go off on people and not even mean to. And I wish I could do less of that because I do think it pushes people away a little bit. I will be an asshole and not even realize I'm being an asshole. And that sucks. But hopefully you've enjoyed the conversation tonight. Hello from Mississippi. Well, hi, Mark. You were in here yesterday, too. I remember, Mark. I remember. I guess we're probably going to be getting off here pretty soon because I'm getting a little bit chilly and should probably let the gimbal charge up a little bit. Probably going to be streaming again later, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. The weed man gives me a front, but we'll see. Fucking January has been a wild ride of a month. Yeah. If you're chilly, put a little crackers with it. I love it. I love it. It's so hard to be civil to people that want to use the state to attack innocent people and say they want some I know, right? Like, and not only that, but you got people like just talking shit on the Second Amendment now too. Like now the Second Amendment just doesn't matter to anybody. You know, like I'm still about gun rights. Is anybody else? Hell, it seems like the party switch has kind of started to happen a little bit. Like the lefties are now going to be the defenders of gun rights, and the right wing is going to be the ones saying you shouldn't have no guns. But how is that going to sit with all of these dudes who have been holding on to their guns, and part of their justification for that is as investments? Like you can't just mass sell your guns as an act of protest if you've been telling your whole family that they're a massive investment and you're going to get that money back someday. We are living the tolerance paradox. I 100% agree. We unironically are living through the outcome of the paradox tolerance. We're living the outcome of it. This is what happens when you allow people to be like really fucking fascist without pushback. This is just what happens. This is what happens when too many cultural leaders make excuses for and work with fascists. Nobody like Nick Fuentes should ever be interviewed by any mainstream media source ever. Nobody that isn't a race realist should ever talk to Nick Fuentes unless it is with the express intent to be confrontational. The only way you should ever speak with Nick Fuentes is with contempt. That is the only tone you should ever take with a Nazi. You mustn't take an understanding tone. Hello, I'm weird. You're fine, Post. Did you ever discover any more damage on your farm? I hope everything was fine after all. No, nothing's fine. I just stopped bitching about it because it makes me sound broke and poor and nobody cares, but our electric fence is fucking completely destroyed. I unplugged it before the ice storm, so the box is fine, but the wire is all fucked up. We're gonna have to completely rerun the wire. We're gonna have to replace some posts. Um, and we're gonna have to find some way to buy a wood chipper or something to get rid of a lot of the wood that fell. Because literally, like everywhere there's a tree at our house, there's at least one big giant limb down out of it. And on a lot of them, like there's two or three trees on our property that literally lost every single branch they had. Stripped the tree down to its bare ass. The damage is immense. If you want an impression of it, go watch the most recent short on my channel. How much is? Let's donate to have the fence fixed, chat. I don't even know how much it would be to fix that thing. Probably not that expensive. Probably for like $100, I could probably get the fucker fixed. Like, get the new one put up and this one fixed, which would hopefully be um, all that would need to happen for until the next natural disaster. Until some fucking tornado comes along and throws a tree on top of my barn or whatever. But it is what it is. You guys don't have to fucking donate for that shit. But I'd be helpful if somebody would. But I'm just fucking bitching because somebody asked about it. Somebody asked if the fence was okay. It's not, but luckily for us, luckily for the family, we got the critters back into the stable before the storm hit. So they've been protected from all the weather, and they were not at risk even from any of the trees or limbs or anything like that. They also weren't able to escape because, like I said, they weren't in the fence when it got destroyed. Not that like even if it hadn't gotten destroyed by the smashing of limbs and everything, the electric box would it wouldn't have worked when we didn't have power. That's one thing my family's been talking about a lot, though, is that if we have the money, or even if we don't have the money, like we have the money to fucking live and survive and do maintenance on the house, and we're thinking more and more about like our upgrades in the future, our maintenance in the future should be centered around and with the thought in mind of how does this hold up if we lose power? And it's sad that we have to think about things that way, but the Southern power grid just is garbage. Like the Deep South has a garbage fucking power grid. We're served by a power co-op, but nobody votes in the elections. Nobody fucking cares about how it's run. So it just has been run into the shit and into the ground for so long that there's not a whole lot of upgrades done on a mass scale, as near as I can tell. They made that tree bald. Know any Tim Henson on that guitar? Tim Henson? No, not off the top of my head. Not off the top of my head. But yeah, I mean it sucks, but like, what are you gonna do? Natural disasters happen, and if I just sit and stew about it, I'm just gonna get mad. Like it's like, what am I gonna do? Just sit and stew and be angry and shit? I've already done that. I've already had my moment. I've already had my like anger and tears, and at this point, it's just like, well, I suppose at some point I'll have the money to fix the damn fence. So I guess I'm gonna be buying a lot of hay over the next couple months. Luckily, hay is cheap. Hence why it can make more sense to just buy some extra hay rather than buying the parts to fix the fence. A certain point, anyway. After a certain point, it will become untenable. But, you know, hopefully, by the point it's become untenable, I've got enough of a lump sum hanging around to buy what I need to fix the fence. Smile, God loves y'all. He's got a funny way of showing it, I'll tell you that much. And the way I always heard it explained by Christians is like, well, God's like a parent who's not that easy on you. God knows you can get through it, and so God gives his hardest trials to his bravest soldiers. Well, if trial is a mark of divinely ordained bravery, then I must be one brave bitch. Yeah, that ice storm fucking wiped out, well, pretty much everybody's finances around here, from what I can tell. mean, not everybody, literally, but you know. The damages are estimated to be as high as $100 billion. So it's a cool tray. It is a cool tray. I like it. I literally have nothing left in it but ashes, which I will put a little bit of ashes in the tray, which I need to clean it because it does dirty it up. I'll put a little bit of ashes in the tray in one spot so that when I scrape resin, I can roll the resin around in the ashes and make it to where you can actually pick it up and handle it without it sticking. It also makes it smoke up a little easier, but at this point, all I've got are a little bit of resin crumbles that were left in there and pieces off that J I had earlier. And that's it. That's it for me. Another is what it is kind of situation, I guess. Well, what are you doing off camera? Look suspicious. Fuck it, we ain't got no viewers. I'm hitting resin, failing. In all due respect, don't you see yourself as the clay, not the potter? I don't see myself as clay at all. I don't think human beings can be described in terms of pottery. I think we are a product of biology, not geology. Hey, I'm a viewer. I just mean we don't have like 200 people in here, you know? It's not literally, I know. But, you know, you asked, so that's my answer. I don't think human beings were created. I think that we are a result of a biological process, just like just like all the other life on this planet. We are not all that distinct from them. I'm also a weed tard. Yeah, we're all weed tards here. I think Riley finally banned literally everyone in the world. Yeah, Riley literally banned every human being that is out there. Bro, why is weed even illegal in so many states? Like, I'd be getting in trouble for my literal medical weed sometimes. Because two reasons. Number one, the tobacco companies, and number two, uh, healthcare companies. Honestly, like there are a ton of healthcare companies that do not want you having access to weed because there are a ton of conditions that can be treated by oneself, self-medicating with weed. I'm just gonna say it. Maybe I'm not qualified to say it, but there are lots of people who self-medicate with weed, and lots of people who like go through extensive treatment programs and eventually find weed, and that does it for them. That's a complete sweep for them, or whatever. For a lot of people, it's not. For a lot of people, they do need additional medications. I'm not saying medication doesn't do anything. I'm not saying they're selling you a pack of lies or whatever. What I am saying is that like the medical industry, as a profit making thing, doesn't want weed to be legal until or unless they can be in on it. That's why they're okay with the medical card program thing, because that's something that they've kind of got a grip on. Do you believe in the spirit world? Eh, I like the idea of the spirit world. I don't know if I believe in it in the sense that I believe that there's like compelling evidence for its existence, but I certainly prefer to think of human beings as having some kind of spiritual dimension. Sure. I don't think that necessarily means that there was a creator or anything, but yeah, I prefer to believe that, yes. What kind of acoustic you got? It is a Fender CC60S. A Fender CC60S made in China acoustic worth about 350, I think. Then police and alcohol lobby. Also, American Puritanism keeps weed from being fully legal. Yeah. Moles. What is with the China symbol? But yeah, the police and alcohol lobby also don't want weed being legalized because they don't, because basically they know that they're not going to be able to get an edge on it the way they have already. It's basically just old money resisting new money. It's fucked up. It's not even fucking like the workers versus the capitalists. It's literally old capitalists versus new capitalists. There's a whole new crop of people looking to profit off of cannabis use and recreational habits and shit like that. And the old crop of people that used to sell you all the old drugs are pissed off because the new crop of people that want to sell you the new drugs are about to get legitimized. It's the same reason why, in my mind, it's the same exact reason why the fucking why the Teamsters opposed the motor vehicle at first. What is that old saying? It's very hard to convince someone of something whose job depends on not understanding. It's very hard to make someone understand something whose job depends on them not understanding it. Like the alcohol lobby is going to be so much less powerful, and alcohol is going to be so much less appealing once cannabis is fully legalized and normalized at as many places as normal as alcohol is, which I don't think ever. I don't think weed will ever become as normalized as alcohol is because alcohol is normalized to an absurd degree that almost nothing else in our society is in terms of drug use. Like you can drink at a wedding, you can't even smoke at most weddings. Like you have to go outside and sidewalk and find somewhere in the fucking shade. I like both weed and alcohol. I might die soon. Don't do that. Don't do that. Um, hey, anyone here? If I've done DMT. Would I ever do an ayahuasca stream? Maybe, maybe. I don't know that. No. You know what? I think I might stream at some point when I'm tripping, but I definitely don't think it'll be with ayahuasca. But yeah, I've done DMT. DMT would be boring for me to do in front of you guys because it would literally be like this. And it would just be that for 10 minutes. It would just be that for 10 minutes, and then I'd be like, all right, all right. Fuck yeah, you're like, oh shit, yeah. Yeah, I've done DMT, but I know the experience. Yeah, doing DMT would not be fun to watch on stream because there's just not much to it as far as the person watching. It's like one of the easiest things to trip set someone who's tripping DMT because they're literally just going to sit there and be like out of it for 10 minutes. And then you just need to be there to make sure that they don't like slump forward or hit their head on something or anything else when they come to. Aw, thank you, Leader by Rome. That's nice. I have pretty eyes. How sweet. I don't really think my eyes are that pretty, but that's cool of you. One last call for donations. If anybody would like to support the channel, the stream, or my fast, my cannabis habit, it's up to you. No, I'm kidding. Am I kidding though? Whatever. Point is, either way, you can do so by, well, most profitably by using my Cash App, which is linked down below. Very useful, very good. You should do that if you have the opportunity to. Please consider doing so. Otherwise, you can send a super chat, have your comment or question read or answered, and I will read it before we get out of here. Because we are going to be heading out here in a minute. You have Venmo? I know have Cash App. No, sadly, I don't. I think I do, but I don't remember what my username is on there. I don't even know if I have it on my phone. That's okay, though. Good night, hon. Hope you get that fence fixed. I do too. I do too. There will be another stream later for those of you who want to watch, for those of you who've got the ability to. If that's the kind of thing you're interested in, you would like to see it, that will be happening later. I also have to schedule a desktop stream for at some point this week, probably tomorrow night. So be on the lookout for that. I'll see about Cash App at some point. I do hate giving money to YouTube. Well, I've got a sign up link down below if you ever want to do that. It gives us each a little money when you sign up using my link. So you consider using my link if you want to. It's very easy to set up and it's very easy to use. Doesn't have any fees associated with it, so that's why I like it so much. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start to head out of here. I appreciate all of you guys who come in and hang out and donate. I appreciate all of you that sit around and have these long chats with us. And I appreciate those of you who say nice things about me because that's awesome, you know. Do you watch wrestling? No, I did when I was a kid, but I don't anymore. Good night, Phoebe. Thank you for the streams. I'll use your link when I do. Yeah, there you go. As for the rest of you, I will see you later. Good night. See me in a few hours. Bye bye for now.